In this demonstration, we're going to demonstrate how we can use delegations within Access Control Manager to limit an administrator's capability within the system or within the user interface. So often we get asked, how do I limit somebody's capability within the user interface so that they can't get in and maybe do some things they shouldn't be able to do? So for a very high level, I'm going to give you an example of that in my demo environment. If you look at me, I'm logged in right now, and I basically can go anywhere. I'm a super user on the system. I can do anything I want. I can unlock doors. I can add, remove identities, and things like that. And when I go into, real quick, we'll just go into an identity. I'm just going to grab this one here. And if you look specifically at one section here, if I go into the roles, look at how many roles I can see and assign to other people, right? So I don't necessarily want my enrollment operator, for example, to be able to see all those. I wouldn't want them to be able to assign super admin rights and give somebody the capability to be a super admin on the system. So, but I do want them to, because they work in the badging office, I do want them to be able to come in and add new people to the system and take their photograph and issue them a new credential and assign them some basic roles. So that kind of starts with being over here in the roles section. Like I'm going to leave this page, but I'm going to go over here, and it starts with a little bit of delegations. So I've gone ahead and I've pre-configured my enrollment operator delegate permissions on what I want them to be able to see and do. And in my demo environment, I want them to be able to go log into the product, go to identities, add new identities, modify existing identities, and that's all I want them to be able to do. Issue a token to somebody. I don't want them to be able to unlock a door. I don't want them to be able to delete an identity who might be me, for example, with super admin rights, and now I can't log into the system anymore. So I've kind of restricted them down. Taking a look at that, so it starts here at delegations, and then I created a role. And one of the cool things about the role, if I go down here to my enrollment operator role, you'll notice that they have the delegation called enrollment operator, which sets their permissions. Where can they go? What can they do in the product? But there's a tab in here called assigned roles. And out of all of the roles in my system, I have designated that only these 4 roles are seen by this administrator, and they are the only ones that can be given and taken away from an identity that they're managing. So let's dive in and take a look and see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and log out here, and I am going to log in as the system, the SA enrollment operator. And you'll notice right away it takes me directly to the identity section. What's unique about this is, let's just say hypothetically, I think I want to open a door. I click on doors. Nope, you don't have that delegation. You can't get to the door listing screen. I'm going to change my role and make myself a super administrator. No, can't get into the roles section. You're not allowed to do that. So by restricting them, we're stopping them from, potentially making a mistake, but also keeping them within their lane, making sure that they stay where they need to stay. So in this case, they can go into identities. Let's just say hypothetically they want to look up Bill Mikens. Now I've restricted them a little bit here that they can add new identities, but when they come in here, I've changed their screen so that they only see very minimal data. And this part's kind of interesting. I have super admin rights and multiple credentials, but I don't think this person should be able to mark me as inactive. So I go ahead and hit save, and notice there's that red banner at the top again, letting this person know you don't have the authority to make this kind of change for these people. But if they did want to come in and say, hey, I just called them up and said, this badge here should be inactive, I've lost it. They can come in here and they can change my badge to lost and go ahead and save that, and that'll allow them to do that. So they can administrate people. They can also add new people to the system. So if they go back to the identity section and they say new identity, they can come in here, and I'm just going to give it a test name. And first name is also test. Any other data they want to put in there, they can hit save. This is the only time they can edit that screen. Notice when it goes to the roles section, they don't see that significant list of roles. They only see the roles that I said they have the ability to see and assign to others. And so you may have building enrollment operators. That's operators that are responsible for giving access to people in building 1, building 2, building 3, building 4. And so the list that they see would only be the list of roles that give access to building 1 or building 2 or building 3 or building 4. Furthermore, they can go ahead and give them tokens. They can, add them to groups. They can issue them a badge and print a badge. They can, go in and assign a photograph to that identity and so on. But this is one way in which ACM's delegations can be used essentially as permissions as to restricting where an administrator can go and what they can do inside the user interface. Pretty simple to set up, very easy to use.